Welcome back to Caledonia Kids Online. We're in week 2 of our series, Follow the Star. We've been learning all about how God guides us. One of the ways that God can guide us is through the people in our lives. Do you have any people in your life that have helped guide you to Jesus? I actually asked some of our leaders this question. Let's see what they said.
People have guided me towards Jesus by reaching out when I was struggling with work and with school. They listened to what I was going through and prayed with me and showed me that they cared.
Some ways that I've been guided to Christ in my life are through a lot of positive influences from adults in my life. Some of those adults are my parents. They blessed me so much that they gave me a Christian education, which really helped me learn more about the Bible. They went to church and they took me with, and I got to go to Sunday school and learn more about Christ. Other ways were they put into routine that we would pray before each meal and spend time with God, and that really helped me get closer with God and develop my own faith.
Hey Caledonia kids, this is Dan, the worship director at church. Miss Hannah asked me to share a little bit with you about a really important question, and the question is, how have people guided you toward Jesus? And so I was thinking about my life and who in my life has guided me toward Jesus, and I've been blessed to have quite a few people who have done that. My parents, my grandparents, teachers, friends. God puts a lot of people in our lives to draw us closer to Him. But the tougher question is, how have they guided us toward Jesus? So I was thinking a lot about that today. I thought, Jesus tells us He's the way, the truth, and the life. And so if someone's pointing me toward Jesus, they're pointing me towards the right way to live that honors Jesus, the truth, and sometimes it's hard to tell what the truth is when there are so many things being told to us by the world that just aren't true. And just as an example, maybe the world tells us, be selfish, take care of yourself first. But if someone's guiding me toward Jesus, they're going to remind me to take care of others first. They're going to remind me to love others before I love myself, and to take care of others in a selfless way instead of being selfish. They're going to remind me not to be prideful. And if we're encouraged to think, well, I'm so great and you're not, that's definitely not the way we live for Jesus. And people that remind us to not be prideful and to be humble, they're guiding us toward Jesus. And of course, Jesus says lastly that He is the life. And anything that points us toward true life, an abundant life that's full of joy and hope, because we have hope in Jesus no matter what happens in this world, then people are guiding us toward Jesus. And I hope you see that happening in your life from your family. Of course, you have a wonderful children's director, Miss Hannah, who's pointing you in that direction and guiding you toward Jesus. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you guys. I'm so glad you have people in your life that have guided you towards Jesus. What about you? Share your answer in the comments. Maybe you have a teacher that really cares about you and encourages you, or maybe your parents pray with you and talk to you about Jesus. It's so important and helpful to have people in our lives that guide us and encourage us in our faith. That's our big idea for today. God gives people to guide us. So last week we learned about how God gives us direction when we read about how an angel told Mary that she would be having a baby. Today's story is actually about another baby. We're going to learn about Zechariah and Elizabeth and how their baby would grow up to guide lots of people towards Jesus. Let's find out more in Luke chapter 1. Way back in the days when Herod was the king of Judea, there was a temple priest named Zechariah. He was married to a woman named Elizabeth. They were both righteous, which means they were right with God and followed all of God's commandments. Zechariah and Elizabeth were old, and they had never been able to have children. Part of Zechariah's job as a priest was to go into the temple and burn incense to worship God. One day when he was doing this, an angel appeared. Zechariah was really scared and fell to the ground. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah, for your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth is going to have a baby boy, and you will name him John. He will be filled with God's Holy Spirit even before he's born. And when he grows up, he will turn many people of Israel to the Lord, making a path for God to do great things." Zechariah was stunned by seeing an angel, but he still wasn't convinced. He didn't believe that having a baby could even be possible, since he and his wife Elizabeth were so old. The angel replied, God sent me to tell you this good news, but you don't even believe it. Because you do not believe, you will be silent until this all comes to pass." The people outside the temple were a little concerned at this point since Zechariah was taking so long. But soon enough, Zechariah came out of the temple, but he couldn't talk. He was trying to sign to them to tell them what had happened, since he couldn't make a sound. Those people realized that Zechariah must have had a vision from the Lord or something when he was in the temple. When Zechariah was done working, he went home. Soon enough, Elizabeth became pregnant. She praised God for giving her this miracle. Well, 9 months passed and Elizabeth gave birth to a baby boy. All their friends and family came over to celebrate. When it was time to name the baby, Elizabeth said she wanted to name him John. The other people were confused, since it was a custom to give a child a family name like Zechariah Jr. Then Zechariah got out a writing tablet and wrote, "His name will be John." And at that moment, God gave Zechariah his voice back. Together, he and Elizabeth praised God for this miracle. Everything the angel said had come true. Some of you might know that this little baby would grow up to be who we know as John the Baptist. God used John in a lot of amazing ways. Most importantly, God used John to soften people's hearts and prepare them to receive the Messiah, Jesus. Remember, our big picture idea today is that God gives us people to guide us. Well, God gave Zechariah and Elizabeth this little baby that helped guide them towards trusting God and ended up witnessing some really amazing things. And when John was older, he helped guide tons of people towards Jesus. Did you know that God can use us to guide people to him too? What kinds of things do you think we can do to guide other people? I asked our leaders this question again. Let's see what they had to say.
In some ways that I try to guide others to Christ are being kind and caring, having a positive attitude even when I don't really want to have a positive attitude. Those are all ways that I can help show the love of Christ, and that's what I try to do in my life.
I guide others toward Jesus by reaching out to those I know are having a difficult time with work or with school or with COVID, and listening to them and showing God's love to them.
There are lots of things we can do to help guide others towards Jesus. These can be small things too, like talking to a friend about Jesus, inviting somebody to church, or just including somebody who might feel left out. Remember, God gives us people to guide us, and sometimes those people are us. We're those people to others too. All right, now it's your turn to answer some questions. Sit down with some family members and answer our discussion questions here on the screen or below in the description. All right, friends, it's time to go. Hope you have a great week. Bye.